Live, where news comes first. This is WECT News.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Frances Weller. Happening right now, New Hanover County Commissioners are meeting to talk about how to spend the public's money. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Frances Weller. We begin with new details on a family claiming deputies raided their home by mistake. Take a look at this doorbell camera video of the alleged incident.
Sheriff's officer, search warrant! Crawl to me! Get on the ground and crawl to me!
Never a dull moment on the anchor desk, but it's the stories we discover, we write, we produce that distinguish us as exceptional news anchors. Stories like this one. Parents, this next story contains language you may not want your child to hear. It's an important story, though, because it deals with child sex abuse. Every 9 minutes in this country, a child falls victim to sex abuse. 1 out of every 3 of those assaults is done by a family member. Melissa Johnson became a victim in 2015. Her abuser, her father. For 3 years, he forced her regularly to have sex. Again, we do want to warn you, parents. This story contains language of what happened to Melissa. She hopes it will help another girl realize that what they may think is normal is not. Here's Melissa's story. Melissa Johnson will never forget the beginning of the summer in 2015. The 12-year-old was outside playing with her siblings.
And I was wearing these bright pink leggings and just a random shirt, and I noticed I had started my monthly cycle for the first time.
That was expected. Most girls start their periods at 12. What happened next was not.
My father took me into his room and he said, "Take your pants and underwear off," and then he would put his finger inside of me.
He told her he needed to make sure it was her period.
I thought it was normal.
But her father had started showing signs that he wanted her to be more than daddy's little girl.
He would always have me sit on his lap, and when I would sit on his lap, I could tell that he was aroused.
That summer day was a prelude to a 3-year living nightmare. It would become a ritual. Her dad forcing her to have sexual intercourse.
It would happen basically every single night.
On the outside, no one had a clue.
I played a perfect double life for 3 years. I mean, I had friends at school. Like, school was my double life. I would get on the bus and immediately be this different person. I was happy. The first time it happened, I would pass out, and then I came to, and then I threw up, and he had me in the bathroom and he cleaned me off and he carried me back to his bed.
Melissa says she passed out because she was drunk and drugged. She says her dad and her mom were all behind it.
Every Friday, it was like their party day. They would get drunk, and so they encouraged me to get drunk with them.
She says her mother always had an abundance of muscle relaxers. She says her dad would often drug her with those to have sex.
So he would give me 4 of those on top of 2 double-strength sleeping pills.
Melissa says her mother knew what was happening behind closed doors, but never did anything about it.
She caught him multiple times.
She says her mom was out a lot and not at home when it happened. Her siblings were usually asleep.
I mean, it was just me and him locked in his room.
Melissa's story was so compelling, we let it breathe and broke it up into 2 parts. The conclusion to her story can be found on our website, WECT.com. Just this past May, I was honored to surprise a teacher who was retiring after 44 years on the job. Her principal and fellow teachers knew she was a loyal viewer, so they asked that I come and surprise her. It was a moment she and I will never forget. Then there are my favorite events that bear my name. Weller's Wheels in December that collects bikes for children at Christmas. Is Tom the Man, I kid you not, and you are buying how many bikes?
$5,000 worth.
And Fran's Fans in June, when we collect fans for area seniors. In 2 days, I went to 5 different locations, and we had fun at all of the Lowe's stores. The best part, we collected a record number of fans, over 3,100 fans. And there were 2 firsts for me this year. For the first time in my entire life, I took a surfing lesson.
What I'm going to teach you now is about the pop-up and how to do it, okay?
On a crisp morning, we meet at the ocean in Surf City. The ocean, great for surfers, not so much for beginners. After a brief lesson on how to pop up on the surfboard, we decide standing on the board is for another day, another lesson.
These are terrible learning conditions. This is from Tropical Storm or Hurricane Felipe, I think, that's coming. And these waves are literally from that storm.
So the lesson begins.
The first rule is when you fall off, and you will fall off, is you cover your head like that, okay? Okay. And you try that, do that. Do it. Yeah.
Mark assembled a team to make sure there's backup if I need to be rescued. He assures me my only concern should be covering my head when I fall.
Other than that, you're not going to drown because I'm going to be there, Jen's going to be there, my friend Chuck's going to be there, okay? So don't worry about that.
So we set out for the ocean, surfboard in hand. I looked the part, but quickly discovered that despite Mark holding my hand every inch of the way, it's my very first time on the surfboard in the ocean. For me, the waves appear taller than the Empire State Building. So here goes.
It was really, really rough. And you were in probably the most powerful part of the wave. It's called the impact zone.
So I fell off, but I survived. So take 2.
There you go.
So that one caught me by surprise, but I'm ready to try it again. Surprisingly, I'm not nervous, and despite the fact I haven't been in the ocean in years, I mean, not this far in since high school, I'm feeling pretty bold and pretty confident.
Part of it, what I thought that was the important thing we did today is almost just getting used to being in the water, getting used to the power of the waves, feeling what that feels like to get held down a little bit. They pack a lot more punch than the normal day. And when I heard that you wanted to do it today, I was like, oh, well, you got an experience for sure. And I'm proud of you, for not playing in the water for many, many years. That was pretty tough of you, so you get a clap for that.
And for the first time, I competed in a dance competition with dancers less than half my age. We all took lessons with professional dancers like they do on Dancing with the Stars. In fact, this was a fundraiser for the UNCW ladies basketball team called Dancing with the Seahawks. The competition was really tough, and the judges were VIPs, including NC State's men's basketball coach Kevin Keats and former Duke standout Ernie Banks. I'm still floating from winning the competition. I sure hope I can celebrate a win with this one. I sincerely appreciate you for considering me for Division II Anchor of the Year.